Well, good morning, everybody. This is your boy, co-host, morning show host, Coach Dante, along with my guy, Mo Better. And we got some interesting stuff to talk about. We are now officially, 2 days away from the NFL draft. We're going to be talking about that, my organizations. We had a hell of a night last night. It was a hell of a night yesterday.
Definitely.
Especially if you're a damn Rocket fan, especially like myself. It was a hell of a day if you're a Miami Heat fan. Not so good for the Grizzlies or Milwaukee Bucks. Not so good for Sacramento as well. So we about to get into all of that. Not so good for the Clippers. The Jets may got something in the work. They may got something going. So Mo, how you doing this morning, man? What's going on?
Doing great, Coach. I mean, like you and most basketball fans, we're coming off of 2 really good playoff games last night. So really, really exciting games. So I'm excited to talk about them.
Yeah, man. Let's not waste no time. We gotta get into this, man. Just like me and you've been letting everybody know, man. Miami Heat, they're different when they get into a playoff push. And thank God the Sixers ought to be glad they didn't have to see this Jimmy Butler come out right here. They ought to be happy. They ought to be happy they dodged a welcome bullet right here. Because what we always say, Jimmy Butler is a star in the regular season, make an all defensive team, make an all NBA team, but in the playoffs, he turns into an all first team every damn thing. He turns into an all world superstar player, a generational talent. And like I say, man, it seemed like the Milwaukee Bucks had this game in control yesterday. In the third quarter, Milwaukee Bucks biggest lead was pretty much 15 points in the game. That was the biggest lead of the game for Milwaukee. They both teams made 13 threes. Jimmy Butler them got to the free throw line 25 times. Milwaukee got to the free throw line 20 times as well. So they both got to the free throw line twice, got to the free throw line quite a bit. Miami out-rebounded the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, defense, turnovers goes to Milwaukee win the turnover battle, but the crucial thing in the fourth quarter, Milwaukee had some very crucial turnovers, including the turnover that put Miami up with Jimmy Butler dunking home. Giannis Bam had got a block shot off Giannis as well, was key in that game. But the key of this game, man, how great the role players played for Miami. They played really good, man. You had guys like Caleb Martin knocking down a big 3 over Giannis in the corner right there to give them the lead. Caleb Martin knocked down 2 huge threes in the game. Drew Holiday comes down, knock down the 3, and then Caleb Martin comes back down, knock down the 3 to put him up in the game. But other than that, man, like I say, the story of this game was Jimmy Butler, man. 56 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. No, it didn't matter who guarded Jimmy Butler for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was just giving everybody the work. And you saw a couple of stints when he was on Giannis, where he defended Giannis well. Giannis 26, 13, and 10. Kind of cooled down at the end in the fourth quarter. Middleton struggled through the whole game. Lopez, 36 points, 11 rebounds. You would think him having them numbers, they will win the game. They will be winning the game. But Jimmy Butler was a lot too much for the Milwaukee Bucks. Mo, give me your impressions about this game.
What I'm wondering if I'm Coach Budenholzer is when Jimmy Butler had 22 points in the first quarter, when he had 22 points in the first quarter, maybe we should double this guy. Maybe that's just me. Maybe we should double him and see if anybody else on the Heat can get 22 points in a quarter. And they continued to single cover him. They doubled him 4 times the entire game, and you get what you deserve. You have to make, you know what I was saying? We're not going to let one guy beat us. Budenholzer said we're going to let one guy beat us. I've said this before. He's too quick for Middleton. He's too big for Drew. And we've seen this before a couple of years ago. He's too quick for Giannis. You can put Giannis on him. He can't guard him. He can't guard him. He can't stay with him laterally. He puts Giannis on skates. It's a bad matchup. You have to double team Jimmy Butler. Even though their bench shot the ball well with Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry made some timely shots. Their bench shot the ball well. But if you look at the stats or the box score, as a team, everybody else was missing. I mean, nobody was shooting the ball well. And if that's the case, at some point, you and your coaching staff got to get together and go, let's double Jimmy and let's see what Max Strus going to do. Let's see what Gabe Vincent going to do. Because Strus played 19 minutes and all he got was good cardio. He didn't score anything. He just ran up and down the floor and got a good sweat up. Gabe Vincent didn't shoot the ball well. Bam plays around the mid post and from 12 feet in, he was like 6 for 15. So he wasn't going to beat you. At what point don't you realize that this guy is so confident he's playing at such a level that you don't double him? I would make Jimmy Butler have to have like 18 assists. Like if he get 18 assists and we lose, you tip your hat to him. But I'm not going to let somebody who's playing at the level that he's playing at right now, shooting 60% from the field, beat me. Another flaw that Budenholzer has always had is at times he can be too Giannis-centric. Like give Giannis the ball all the time, make everything go through Giannis. He did that again, and Miami adjusted to it. They you know how to double team Giannis. Bam guards him well because he can match him athletically and he can match him with quickness. And because Giannis has a high handle, he gets ripped a lot. He had some bad turnovers in that fourth quarter and it hurt the team. Their offense grew so stagnant because they just kept putting the ball in his hands and everybody else just started watching. I was just disappointed. I've actually been disappointed in Milwaukee throughout this series because if you think about it, Coach, this whole series, their defense, except for one game, even the game they won when they blew Miami out, Miami still shot almost 50% from the floor. Like they have not slowed Miami down once this series. Miami is getting whatever they want. And I think Coach Spo is out coaching him, but I could coach the Heat and give the ball to Jimmy Butler and say, get out the way. I mean, I don't understand how you let that happen play after play. That's insanity to let him play one-on-one. It's 3-1. I think Miami's taking this series. You and I said it. Whether Giannis plays or not, with the way Jimmy's playing, Milwaukee's not winning this series.
And I want to just let people know, no excuses.
Yeah.
You said Giannis is back now. He played the full game. I want to hear no excuses about his back being hurt. They lose a series. I know he didn't play the first 3 games. He didn't play the first 3 games. I get that. Well, he played 1.5. He played 1.5.
He was on the floor when he was getting blown out.
He was on the floor when he was getting beat too in game 1. So that can't be an excuse. You can't make that excuse. He was on the floor too when they were getting beat. He was on the floor too for game 1. They did end up beating them in game 2, blowing them out at game 2. They didn't end up Miami Heat did end up returning that favor, coming home, beating them in game 3. Now you got Giannis back for a full game. How many minutes did Giannis play? Giannis played regular minutes, 38 minutes. They blew him. They didn't blow him out, but Jimmy Butler took over the game. So if Miami Heat somehow, if they can close this series out, no excuses that Giannis been out. He was out. He played this game, and they got beat by basically Jimmy Butler. But like I said again, I thought in the fourth quarter, the defense of the Miami Heat stepped it up a notch. They made them a little bit uncomfortable by ball pressure. You can see when Giannis got the ball in the half court set, you can see Bam pressuring them. That ends up with a turnover. You know, Jimmy Butler ended up giving them a 2-point lead after that ball pressure. They turned the ball over twice, and their offense just got really stagnant. But you got to give credit to the Miami Heat, the way they played defense. They were real physical in that fourth quarter. And Erik Spoelstra, when he gets in the playoffs, he can out damn near out coach anybody he plays. He can coach anybody he coach against. And if this team wins this series against Milwaukee, you can make an argument they can get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Would I trust them to beat Cleveland or the Knicks? Hell yeah, I would trust them. If you got Jimmy Butler doing this, hell yeah, I would trust them to beat Cleveland and the Knicks.
100%. Coach, there's a path for them to the finals, to the conference finals, maybe even the finals. If he's going to play at this level and get timely shooting from the guys around him, he's going to go into the next series, be it against the Knicks or the Cavaliers. He's going to go into that series the best player in that series.
Yeah.
And even though I think the Knicks are going to go ahead and beat the Cavs eventually, I don't know if the Knicks are going to be able to beat this current version. The way the Heat are playing, the way he's playing,
Yeah.
I would favor the Heat to beat the Knicks.
I'm telling you right now, if the Heat can close out this series, I will pick them to win the next round. I would pick them literally to win the next round because you got Jimmy Butler on your team. You got Eric Spoelstra, who knows how to coach in the playoffs, who actually knows what he's doing in the playoffs. Now, that team is great over there with the New York Knicks, or opposing if Cleveland win game five, which I think they can win. They will win game 5 because I don't think they will go out like that. Donovan Mitchell will go out like that. I think the series will end in Madison Square Garden eventually. But other than that, I will pick Miami to get to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks or the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you can argue they do have outside shot against Boston, or definitely they can beat the 76. They definitely beat the Sixers, but I don't think Sixers getting past Boston at all. I don't think they will get past Boston at all.
Coach, that would be interesting to see Miami and Boston meet again.
Yep.
Even though if you're going top to bottom, it would seem like the Celtics have more talent, but they had more talent the last time they met, and that was an amazing series because Jimmy Butler was playing out of his mind. So there's a path, Coach, for the Heat to get back to the finals. There really is.
Yep, it is definitely a path. It is definitely a path to get back to the NBA Finals. And we know the Bucks have history with the Miami Heat. If y'all don't know, Miami Heat beat them in the bubble 4-1, and they got to the NBA Finals and end up losing to the Los Angeles Lakers. The next year, the Bucks come back, sweep them. They go to the NBA Finals and win it. And now they play this year. Miami has an upper hand for right now. 3-2 with a chance for Jimmy Butler to knock Giannis out in game 5 with an opportunity. So that's some history for you guys. So
that's two out of 3 matchups that it looks like Jimmy's gonna beat Giannis.
Yep. So again, Jimmy Butler, phenomenal night last night. And we switch over to LeBron night. 22 points, 20 rebounds. Awesome night for the Los Angeles Lakers. But like I said again, no, I can tell you up front, like I say, I don't like the Lakers. I can care less about them. But again, when it comes to basketball, like I say, you got to be honest. You got to be realistic. I do respect the organization, respect the team, respect the fan base. I do that. So I'm not gonna go that far right there on that statement. But other than that, the Memphis Grizzlies are in big trouble. Lakers was down 7 points with 5 minutes, 30 seconds to go, 97-90. D'Angelo Russell, he pretty much saved this game pretty much.
100%.
And 3 threes right there. That got the Lakers going. When Memphis was on a big run. That got the Lakers going. He hits those 3 threes, even though he fouled out. That was a big difference maker. I thought that was the momentum and the spark the Lakers actually needed to win this game. So even though we can look at the overtime part of things and say LeBron did what he had to do, yes, LeBron made the shot to go into overtime, but D'Angelo Russell getting them in that situation with 3 threes in a row, that would not be that. Probably that shot that LeBron hit would not be right there at that moment. Memphis probably runs away with the game if those 3 threes don't happen. So I just have to acknowledge that. Right there. The Lakers won by 3 on the boards. Right there, they won by 3 on the boards. They didn't shoot the 3 ball well. They only made 10 threes. D'Angelo Russell made 3 back-to-back. He made 3 back-to-back threes to pretty much send the game into overtime pretty much. Anthony Davis didn't have a great night, but he had a big tip in, a big layup in the overtime pretty much up and on the overtime. Jared Vanderbilt had a great first quarter, 15 points in the first quarter. D'Angelo Russell only made 3 threes, but the 3 threes was huge. Pretty much when the Lakers had no momentum, those 3 threes kind of woke them up and pretty much helped them out. Austin Reeves, 23 points in the game. Schroeder had 12. John Morant with a messed up hand had 19. He was 8 for 24 from the field. Desmond Bain struggled mightily from the field, especially from the 3-point line. He's supposed to be a 3-point specialist, but he had 36 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. struggled from the field. You got all these Memphis Grizzlies struggling from the field. They're inefficient from the field. That's the problem with them. When they're missing shots, they cannot get stops on defense. It seems like it gets to them on the defensive side. But Jaren Jackson Jr. is a monster on the defensive side, man. He was blocking everything that comes to the rim pretty much, except LeBron James shot. But Mo, give me your thoughts about this game.
It was an exciting game. It was an intense game, but it was an ugly game too. I mean, it was bad shooting. So when people go, well, LeBron got 20 rebounds, and I was like, you saw how Memphis was shooting, right? There was 20 rebounds to be had. Right, he could have had 30. I mean, there was 20 rebounds to be had. Like, that's how bad they shot. What I didn't understand about Memphis is the Lakers are closing you out at the 3-point line, and you're still shooting the three. Dribble the ball, man. Attack the basket. Do something other than shoot a three. Like, you're not a good 3-point shooting team coming into this. So why are you playing out of character? That's what I don't understand. Like, Bane can shoot the three well. He has it. Luke Kennard can shoot the three well, but they're not going to let him be open. Other than that, that's not where you live. Like play to who you are. Play to your strengths. Yep. You got David Roddy jacking up threes. Why? You got Dylan Brooks, who, like I said, he can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Why you got Dylan Brooks jacking up threes? Like, he's not a good shooter. He never been a good shooter. What are you doing? They got that lead late, and you thought, I think these young dudes are going to take control. They had momentum. D'Lo hits that first bomb, and what do? They come back, return the favor, take a bad shot early in the offense. Lakers come back down, swing the ball around, and rather than live with someone, I think it was AD, maybe AD might have scored and got a 2. You leave D'Lo alone again. He comes around. It's almost the identical play, and he drops another bomb. So, okay, no problem. Memphis comes down, rushes up another shot. Lakers come down. They leave D'Lo open again. Like, at some point, the coaches are supposed to get up on him. That he's on. D'Lo's 3 threes not just changed the momentum, it shifted the game completely.
Yeah, it did.
It shifted the game. And it put the game on an even plane. From that point on, the Lakers were the better team. Memphis went into overtime. They were done. They were wrecked. You could tell that they were shell-shocked. They never recovered from it. Even when they had, I think it was 0.8 left and the game was tied, the play that they ended up running was getting John Morant, ISO with Anthony Davis, where all he had to do was put it up and AD was going to throw it back in his face. I mean, I didn't understand their late game, their lack of production. Just there was something about the way their offense got stagnant. I just didn't understand why he didn't get more motion out of the team than he got out of the team. Going into the overtime, you could tell once the overtime started, they were done. The overtime wasn't even competitive. It was a wrap. They were done. I know after the game, a lot of people complained about calls, but everybody does that. Everybody's got something to say about calls. In the end, in a really, I would call it old school, physical, who wins 50-50, who gets rebounds, who gets block shots, who makes timely threes kind of game, the Lakers won the game.
The Lakers won the game, and like I said, man, I want to give credit, to D'Angelo Russell. I mean, those 3 threes was really huge, and they got the Lakers jump started. LeBron James going to the basket up on that, laying it high off the glass before Jaren Jackson Jr. Getting to the rim, because Jaren Jackson Jr. was coming. He was about inches away from blocking that shot right there. He had to lay it up that high off the glass. Then overtime, it just seemed like Memphis couldn't take it no more. They got tired at the overtime. The Lakers had a little bit more burst in the overtime. So Lakers go up 3-1 with a chance to end the series in Memphis. It will be pretty tough to end the series in Memphis, but again, Lakers have a possibility to do that. So again, our next topic, are the Bucks in trouble? I think they're very much in trouble. I think even if they win game 5, I think the series could very well be over in 6 in Miami. But again, I'm thinking Milwaukee getting too confident of guarding Jimmy Butler. I know you got an all defensive team player in Drew Holiday on your team. Know you got Chris Middleton, who's got a lot of length. Know you got Giannis, you can throw at anybody. But again, when Jimmy Butler's a hot guy like that, and him being a superstar, hey, that's just too much to ask for. Then you're not making no adjustments on trying to make somebody else beat you. Kyle Lowry stealing money. I'd rather for him to make a play and shoot a basketball than Jimmy Butler ever trying to do it. And like I said, Miami Heat is not shooting better. They're not shooting great at all. They're inefficient from the field. So again, like you said, why can anybody else take a shot? Well, let's double team Jimmy Butler, take him up out of the equation, and make his teammates do it. But also, got to give credit to Miami, how they responded on the defensive side of the ball when they need to respond. And Eric Spoelstra clearly is making more adjustments than Mike Budenholzer. So, Mo, are the Milwaukee Bucks in trouble?
Yeah, they're definitely in trouble. Miami has all the momentum. They have all the confidence. I think Miami actually thinks they can go into Milwaukee and win and close them out in Milwaukee. I think that's how confident they are. And the way Jimmy Butler's playing, if they're going to continue to guard him the way they're guarding him, yeah, why not think you can win in Milwaukee? The problem with Milwaukee is this. What a lot of people don't recognize is once you get past Giannis, maybe Drew Holiday, the Milwaukee Bucks might be one of the most unathletic teams in the entire NBA. They just don't have a lot of athletes. They don't have a lot of guys that can break you down off the dribble. They're a very deliberate team. So it is about system. Yes, Giannis is their star, but it's so much about their system. And when you break up that system, when you challenge them from getting into their spots, there really isn't a plan B. Budenholzer, he's not great at making that kind of adjustment. Like, it was great to see Brook Lopez come alive. You and I talked and said he needed to have a big game. He had a very big game, except late in the game when Miami had made the adjustment. Remember, the Bucks were up by 12. They had gotten comfortable. It looked like they were going to basically just go back and forth. And then the Heat just shut them down completely and ignited Jimmy Butler again. I thought Coach Spo and company made adjustments. You can say what you want about the Heat, even though they play small. That scrambling defense, the way that they cover and they help the helpers, Milwaukee never recovered from that. They were swinging the ball around and there was somebody there. Like that, the energy that Miami used defensively, that was impressive. I just didn't understand. Here's the thing about Giannis, great player. And I still think he's the best player in basketball. But he's being outshone in this series by Jimmy playing at a special next level kind of level. I mean, Jimmy Butler right now is a superstar. He seems to be a superstar in the playoffs on a regular basis. If Milwaukee's going to have a shot to win this series, one, they're going to have to be more aggressive at getting to the basket. When I see a game where Drew Holiday has 0 free throws, Middleton only has 4, Giannis only has 4, that tells me that they're settling, especially Drew Holiday. You cannot have a game where you have no free throw attempts. I mean, you're relying too much on your jump shot, and Drew can hit a jump shot, but that's not the strength of his game. They need Drew Holiday getting in the paint, creating havoc, and being in attack mode rather than settling for fadeaway step back threes. Those are style shots. They need Drew Holiday to get in the paint. They need a better version of him. They need a better version of Middleton. And even if you're not going to double Jimmy Butler the whole game, show him a different look. Yep. Blitz him a couple of times. Just do something to get him off balance or get him off his game, because right now he is dissecting your team.
And definitely right there. Again, that shows that Milwaukee is not being aggressive enough. They're not getting anything going to the basket. They're out there selling for jump shots when you're not going to the free throw line and being that much aggressive. And one thing about that small ball lineup, it allows you to switch when you need to switch. And by you having shooters on the small ball lineup, it allows your defense to scramble. When a play is broken down. And it's also allowed more quickness on the defensive side and allow more guys. And it just makes them tougher to guard on the offensive side of the ball, especially when you want to double team Jimmy Butler. You got guys out there that can shoot, knock it down the 3. Then you also very much mobile on the defensive side due to Bam, can guard anybody. He can guard 1 through 5. Bam can guard 1 through 5.
He's versatile.
Yeah, he's very versatile, so he's not a weak link when you're playing a small ball lineup. He's a big man, but he's very versatile. He can also, when you need him to get on the guard, he can get on the guard. Jimmy Butler can guard anybody, probably except for 5, but he can pretty much guard anybody on
Coach,
the floor.
I saw him in the fourth quarter guarding Brook Lopez. Like
Yeah, he's guarding Brook Lopez.
He even guarded Brook Lopez. Like you could
Yep.
tell Jimmy wanted that game because when he thought he needed to slow Giannis down, he guarded Giannis.
Yeah, he guarded
when he thought that Brook Lopez was getting too many good looks, he guarded Brook Lopez. Like that, he's got that dog in him. Jimmy's a different dude.
Yep. In Miami Heat, like I say again, you need, like I was saying last night in the group chat, you need dogs like that, man. Miami Heat got some dogs on that team. Got some dogs on that team that's gonna go out there and fight. Yes, they're gonna be inconsistent in the regular season, but when you have to prepare for them in a 7-game series, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, they're gonna be ready to go down. They're gonna be ready to go down. They're gonna be ready to fight. That's one thing about them. So again, we have a new coach in town. Got a new coach in the city of Houston. The city of Houston is rocking right now.
I got it wrong, Coach.
Yeah, man.
I got it the other way around, I guess.
Hey, trust me. Any way it goes, I would have been happy. You got a championship winning coach and Nick Nurse. You got a person that led the Boston Celtics to an NBA title. At the end of the day, man, the whole Houston franchise, the organization, the fan base is very much happy at this point, man. You got a proven winning head coach who was a Sid. Y'all don't know his resume. Ime Udoka did play for San Antonio. I think he won a couple titles or probably a title with him, but he was a good role player for San Antonio. He assistant coach for Greg Popovich, and Greg Popovich got a hell of a goddamn tree. Y'all don't know this guy tree. Becky Hammond, already a WNBA championship winning coach already. James Borrego did leave San Antonio, go to Charlotte. They were in the playoffs. Ime Udoka goes, he leaves. He gets to an NBA championship. The NBA championship, they didn't win it, but he gets to a title. And they were 18-21 at one point before calling out the team, and letting the players know, holding them guys accountable, and then they got the job done. So he has a hell of a coaching tree over there. And again, that coaching tree, not like Bill Belichick. When you could leave Bill Belichick, you're not successful. The only person that actually had a little bit of success over there was Bill O'Brien, because he did end up winning us division titles. At least he got us to the playoffs and won division titles. But for Greg Popovich, it's a little different. You're winning championships. When you come as a head coach, you're leading your team to championships. Ime Udoka does that. Love this move so much. I'm about to jump on top of the roof because, again, you don't have a puppet no more. In Steven Silas, who Raphael Stone had to come in, run the practices, telling them what to do. Now you don't have to go through that with Ime Udoka. It had to be some type of talk. Ime Udoka. It had to be some type of talk saying, I'm doing the way how I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm coaching my team how I want to coach it. That wasn't with Steven Silas. And again, Raphael Stone picked Steven Silas. So again, he picked Ime Udoka, but Ime Udoka is a championship type of head coach that knows what he's doing and he's going to get the right players in here. He's going to get some players to come in for free agency. He's going to hold these young players accountable, something Steven Silas wasn't doing. He's going to get the best out of these players. If you're not playing well, he's going to sit your ass on a bench. He's going to let you know about it. He's going to change the culture. He's going to change the attitude. And he's got full reins of what he wants to do. He's got full reins. He can choose his coaching style. He got permission to choose his coaching style. And so that tells you they had some type of talk about, hey, Ime Udoka got power in this organization. He has a lot of power, and he should be. So I'm very happy. And you got a coach, like I say, that the players are going to grow with, that's going to hold these players accountable when they need to be held accountable. And he's also going to get some players to come in that want to work, that want to compete. And the city of Houston is excited. And I say, Mo, what you got on this?
I think this is big for Houston because he's going to come into that locker room, command respect right away. I think that with these young guys, with the team being so young, a coach like Udoka, who's a young coach in his own right, I think he'll be able to relate to them. but I think they'll be able to. There's going to be a connection that you didn't have with Steven Silas. There's going to be a respect level. There's going to be an accountability level. So this is just a big deal for the Rockets franchise. And I would not be surprised. I'm not going to say an insane turnaround, but he's going to have those young guys, and along with the roster construction, because there are going to be some changes, I'm sure, in the offseason. They're gonna be one of those teams that they're gonna be fighting for a playoff spot. I really believe that. And let's not forget, Coach, he's the coach with what they have.
Yep.
We don't know what they're gonna add. We don't know what's gonna happen in the draft. I mean, you get one or two guys, you get Henderson, or you get Big Vic, and those are franchise changers. To go with Udoka, to go with some of the young talent that you already have on that roster. I like a lot of the players that they already have.
Yep.
It's really just a matter of putting them in their right roles on the team, because everybody can't be a star. So that's another thing about Udoka. He's going to give everybody not just an identity, but their role on the team. And he's going to give them the opportunity to star in that role. So I think this is a big day for the Rockets franchise. And it's a big day for the NBA, because the NBA is that much better when Houston is relevant in the NBA.
Yep, definitely hit the nail right on the head. And like I say, I just want to thank Coach Silas for his due diligence here, which is a one much, but he's going to get assistant head coaching job. I don't think he deserves a head coach. Well, if he does deserve a head coach, it deserves to be with a veteran basketball team, not a young team, because he already showed he could not handle young players. So if he gets a head coaching job, it deserves to be with a young team. It needs to be with an older team, with a kind of older veteran team. That probably what he could relate more to. So we got Murray suspended for 5 games. Murray, what you think about that from Atlanta? That's 5 games next coming season.
You can't put your hands on officials. You can't bump into officials. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't an accident. He did it on purpose. Like, I can understand frustration that players have sometimes when they don't think a call goes their way or it goes against them. You still can't do that. He's wrong. He got caught. I think that the punishment fits the crime. You can't do that. You got to send a message to all the players. DeJounte Murray was upset. I understand why he was upset. You just got to shake that off and go to the locker room, man. Like, there's nothing to be gained by trying to bump up into an official. It almost seemed like he was trying to like intimidate him. There's just no reason to do that.
Yep, that's just uncharacteristic right there.
And your team needs you, right, Coach? Like, they need you the next game. Like, the series isn't over yet, and you're one of the best players on the team, and now you're not available.
It just seemed like that bump. You seem like you're ready to go home after that. It just seemed like you didn't think about we still got another game. It just seemed like you thought about yourself and you're ready to go home. That's what it does seem like.
I agree.
And we think that we'll go home tonight. They will go home. They will go home tonight. So other than that, we got De'Aaron Fox with a broken finger. This will definitely affect Sacramento in the long run. Mo, what you think about this?
So my wife said Golden State is she said Golden State's the luckiest franchise in the history of NBA. I don't agree with that 100%, but they do get a lot of breaks for whatever reason. If De'Aaron Fox can't play, or let's say he can play, but he's hindered, and he will be hindered, that is going to be something that's going to help the Warriors out. They're going to need Malik Monk. They're going to need Keegan Murray to have the kind of game that he had the last game. They're going to need better from Harrison. I still think the Kings can win the game. It's just that they're going to need the other guys around De'Aaron Fox to pick him up. You know what I mean? Like be there for him, because he's always been there for them. So I don't think this is a lock that Golden State wins, but it's certainly something that they can take advantage of, because we're talking about the guy that's been the best player in this series. He's been the most unguardable guy in this series. Like, first, second, third, like all 3 of his gears are faster than everybody else's gears. And his 10-foot mid-range jump shot, that's a layup. That's automatic. That's unguardable.
That's unguardable. especially
And if
when
they
you get
can't
inside.
have him, if they can't have that best version of him, Golden State's going to take advantage of that. You know it. I know it. So that's a tough break for the Kings because even though it's 2-2, they're going home. They had a chance to go up 3-2 in a pivotal game 5.
Yep.
And let's see how he plays. Hopefully he'll be able to be as effective as, say, John Morant has been the last couple of games, even though he's been hindered.
Definitely. And one more thing I gotta give you credit on. Gotta give you credit. Ever since you picked my Rockets have not lost a game. Ever since you picked them, Rockets have not lost a basketball game. So I do got to give you credit on that one.
I like that squad, man.
Yeah, ever since you picked them, the Rockets have not lost. The Rockets have not lost a game pretty much ever since you picked them. But other than that, I think for the Kings to survive this series, they're going to need De'Aaron Fox to play at his best. But unfortunately, he's not playing with his best. Going to be playing at his best. I think the finger, if he does play, is going to bother him. I think you're going to see stretches where you're going to bother him. What is going to bother him, just like you saw last night with Ja Morant, got on the hand twice. It's clearly bothering him. But this is the time you need guys like Keegan Murray to step up. You need guys like Malik Monk to step up. You need guys like Kevin Huerter, who's been shooting really poor in this series. You need guys like Sabonis to be that alpha dog. He has not been good in Sacramento. He did not have a great 2 games in Sacramento. He only had 1 great game, and that was game 2, actually. He had a solid game. So even if D Fox is playing, or even if he's can't play, this is the time to show what you made of. Right. Guys like Davion Mitchell is going to have to step up and make plays. Other guys, you got a good enough team to beat Golden State. Even if you didn't have De'Aaron Fox, or even if he plays, you got a good enough team. You can win a game in Sacramento. But other guys going to need to step up. You're going to need to shoot the basketball definitely better. And they may be right. White may be right. Golden State had some breaks. They had quite a few breaks. They did. Quite a few breaks, but again, they're a great team, man. Not gonna take no credit away from them. Yes, you heard Tatum had a wrist injury, but again, I'm not buying that. If you played on the court, there's no excuses. If you're hurt, you don't play. If you're injured, you still give it a go. I'm not trying to hear no excuse. Ja Morant, not trying to hear no excuse about no wrist injury. He was out there on the court, and he had 30. He had 36 the other night. He had 45 the other night. And he had 16 to the other last night. So I'm not trying to hear no excuses. If you out there, no excuses. If you're good enough to go, no excuses. You got to be fair and square. I want to hear nothing about no injury. You seem to hear that all the time.
He was bad.
He was bad.
He was actually bad last night. Bane actually came to play and was pretty damn good. I thought John Morant hurt his team a lot of time trying to force the ball. He was getting the ball turned over. He's getting a shot block. He was trying to do too much. And it was one of those nights where maybe it wasn't going to be your night to be the leading scorer. So you should have kept getting the ball to Desmond Bane or someone else. But it wasn't his night, and he was just trying to force the issue too much.
But he was out there on the court. If you want to
say no excuses. I'm with you, Coach.
That's no excuses. He was out there on the court last night. So he's good enough to play. So if he's playing, that's good enough for me. Not making no excuses out there. Chris Paul was hurt against Golden State. That's probably one of the bullets they dodged. But guess what? I didn't make no excuses because we missed 27 straight goddamn shots, which is unacceptable. When you had a chance to beat Golden State in the game 7. So I'm going to hold the team full of much accountable. I know Chris Paul was the catalyst of that. And the Golden State Warriors damn near very much dodged a bullet. But again, you had 27 straight open threes and couldn't make one of them. Couldn't even make one of them.
Coach, let me ask you a question. Since you're talking about that series, let me ask you a question. No, I'm just being real because I've had this argument. I had an argument with somebody before as it was going on. I was like, don't tell me that KD likes being played physically because PJ Tucker was all up in that dude. Remember that? I remember that shit. Yeah, definitely remember. He had some problems. He was having some problems.
The whole Golden State team had problems with that.
No! Look, even in Game 7, when the Rockets lost, it wasn't because Golden State was great. The Rockets lost because they missed 30-something threes.
We missed 27 straight shots, and we were about double digits going into halftime. We lost game 2. We lost game 6 and game 7. We was up by double digits at halftime. So we was very much damn near the better team and outplayed them in the series. Chris Paul got hurt. That was the turning point of the series. But again, we missed 27 goddamn straight shots. So I can't blame. I'm not gonna say because of Chris Paul.
I watched that game.
We got beat because we missed 27 straight shots. And the Warriors was evidently outshot us throughout the whole.
Hey, Coach, those 27 shots, I'd say at least 20 of them were all good looks.
All good looks. They were good looks. James Harden would drive to the rim. They would pack the paint. Ariza, Tucker wide open throughout the whole game. They couldn't even make a shot. They couldn't even make a jump shot. They couldn't even make a jump shot. But other than that, like I say, no excuses. If you play, and the team beat you, that shouldn't be no excuse.
Agreed.
That should actually be no excuse. I'm not trying to hear about Giannis' back injury. He was out there on the court when they lost. Ja Morant out there on the court when he lost, still out there, still was good enough to play. He's good enough to play. De'Aaron Fox with a broken finger, still good enough to play. Still good
Coach, I picked Milwaukee to beat Miami coming into the series.
I did too.
And I make no excuses. I make no excuses. You're not going to hear me go like, "Oh man, I'm not doing that." Jimmy Butler has been the best player in this series. Giannis is back. Like you said, he'll be playing the next game. So if Giannis wants to reestablish himself as that dude, you're going to have to outplay playoff Jimmy Butler.
Yep, sure did. So we got an award that was given out yesterday. Man that's very much deserving. You know, he had a good career in Chicago. He averaged double figures every year in Chicago, but he was kind of held back in Chicago at the same time. And we're talking about Lauri Markkanen, won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Congratulations to him. He was none other than a superstar in Utah. He was a superstar in Utah, made an all-star appearance. Lauri Markkanen was great throughout the whole season, consistent, can shoot the cover off of the basketball. Mo, what you think about this reward from Lauri Markkanen?
I'm happy for him, especially since if you followed him from Cleveland, from Chicago, and now to Utah. Remember, when he went to Utah, the Jazz initially, if you saw the team that they had put together, they were a bunch of like vagabonds. They were planning on tanking. Really, they were planning on tanking and manipulating all those picks that they had acquired, and they ended up with a pretty good team. Like I think the first quarter of the season, the Jazz were well over 500. They had some injuries. They lost a few guys, but Lauri Markkanen was one of the best players in the NBA throughout the season.
Yep.
I think what changed in his game was he became a much more consistent three-point shooter. He'd always been talented in the mid-post. He could always put the ball on the floor, but his three-point shooting was always inconsistent. And the knock on him was he couldn't handle physical play.
Yep.
Well, you can tell he's bigger. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. I think he's one of those guys that he wanted to turn his career around and not be known as a knock or a bust or a lesser version of him. And I give the young man all the props because he reestablished himself in the NBA. And now, instead of being like a throw-in player in a trade, he's going to be part of the Jazz's core for the future.
Yep, man. I was really impressed with him. The way Lauri Markkanen, played this year. I thought he was good when he was in Chicago and Cleveland. He just didn't get the looks that he deserved. He just wasn't a part of the offense that that he thought he would be. Utah, remember who drafted him? Minnesota drafted him first. He was traded. He was traded to Chicago, and I bet Minnesota kicking themselves in the ass and to this day for that trade from drafting Chris Dunn and all the bad moves that they made. Ricky Rubio, all the bad moves drafting they really actually did. But other than that, really happy. Go ahead.
They made the same mistake I think that the Suns made. They got rid of Bridges, thinking Bridges could be at best no better than a fourth option. And now Bridges showing you he can be at least a number 2 on a really good team. Lauri Markkanen is showing you he can be a number 1 option. So to give up on that young man, like you said, at the 2 previous stops, they gave up on him way too soon.
Yep, they definitely gave up on him way too soon. But like I say, I enjoy watching Markkanen play this year. You know, he lit us up this year too. I remember that game. Yeah, but I think he had a 50 piece on us. If I'm not mistaken, he had to have a 50 piece on us. If I'm not mistaken, in Houston. So again, we already know how that went down. So congratulations to Lauri Markkanen for the most improved player. Definitely deserve it. Kawhi Leonard. Should he consider retirement, Mo? Should he consider retirement?
Only if he doesn't want to play anymore. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If he's done competing and he doesn't want to play anymore, then sure he should walk away from the game. But I don't think Kawhi Leonard's thinking of retiring. Like if he felt that way, why even come back this season? Like I think Kawhi Leonard feels like he has unfinished business in his career. I think he wants to add another title to his resume, be that with the Clippers or somewhere else. I don't think he's going to consider retirement. I think Kawhi wants to compete. And I think he kind of want to shut up some of the people that want to get, like that make him the face of load management or say that, well, he should be playing. There's no reason for him to be out. And I'm like, if somebody's that injured and they're chronically injured, you can't play. It's the cut and dry of it. And when somebody makes a comment like, well, this is not about being injured, it's about pain tolerance. And I would be out there like, you don't know what you would do. You're not in that man's body. If his doctors say he shouldn't play, he shouldn't play. Point blank. So I'm not down with that attacking guys that are actually injured. If you want to have a conversation about load management, those are two separate issues to me. I hope as a fan that he comes back and he has another 3 or 4 years at a really, really high level. But he has chronic issues that a lot of people don't talk about. And that's outside of the ACL. So if he decides to retire, he's had a great career. If you think about it, even in the short span, he's had a great career.
Definitely. In a short span, I mean, he was the man in his early half stages in San Antonio, and to come back and win a championship in Toronto, a place that he didn't even want to go to.
Right.
Greg Pop did something to Toronto, and he ended up delivering a championship. And everybody knew that was one and done. Kawhi Leonard, that was one and done. He didn't want to end up in Toronto. He wants to end up in LA. And he ended up in LA after delivering a championship. But that was, like I said, again, that was a cool thing for Kawhi Leonard, and ended up in a championship and helping that organization win a championship. So that's a cool thing to do for Kawhi Leonard. Like I said again, I still think he's going to play again. If he's healthy. May not be no more this year. It ain't going to be no more this year because I think Phoenix Suns may wrap it up tonight. But other than that, he's going to have a full off season. Paul George will be back next season. And I really want to see can the Clippers run it back next year. And if he gets injured again, it's another season-ending injury. Then that's why I think he consider calling it quit, calling it off. If it's another season ending injury,
Coach, I just want to see one season where he and Paul George play, let's say 65 to 70 games together. They go all the way through the playoffs, and if they lose, they lose, but not because of health reasons. I just want to see I just want to see the finished product when they're 100% healthy. I know we saw them in the bubble, and they had the 3-1 lead, and they blew that against the Nuggets. But I want to see them again healthy. And if I want to see them on the floor if they lose, not on the sideline in street clothes.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, if they play a full season next year and they get whooped in the playoffs, boy, everybody gonna get them. Everybody gonna climb them. You gonna hear something about that at that point of time. Then if they stay healthy and get beat in the playoffs, you're gonna be hearing so much shit about them at that time. But we got a huge trade. It finally happened yesterday.
You were right. You said it was going to happen before. You were right.
I said it was going to happen before because they were talking. I already knew it was going to happen. It was just a conversation that they were struggling to get. But the Packers got all they could get for them. They got all they can get for them. They got something good. The details of the trade, if anybody don't know the details of the trade, Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets. They get I think they get the 2023 5th round pick, which is pick number 170, and I think they get a 15th overall pick, and they get a 2023 fifth round, which was 170. And the Packers get the number 13 pick. That's the Jets' 13th overall pick this year's draft. They get the 20. They get a second round pick number 42. That's this year. They also get a 6th round pick, 207, a additional 2024 first round pick that becomes a first rounder if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the plays this year. So again, is this too much for Aaron Rodgers right here for the Jets?
Not to be arrogant, but if you're a Niners fan, that would have been too much for us. I'm only saying that because if you're a Jets fan, let's keep it 100. You only won one Super Bowl in the history of the franchise. That was Joe Namath. You know how long ago that was? Like you got Joe Namath, and then you get the rest of your history. Like if you're the Jets, you've been getting clowned in the AFC East for a better part of a decade. Like it's not too much for them. Because automatically, even though he's coming up on 40, what I saw of Aaron Rodgers, he clearly can still play at a high level. The Packers being bad last year, it didn't have anything to do with him. They had a lack of weapons. You got rid of Javonte Adams, who's one of the best receivers in football, and you left Aaron Rodgers with a bunch of twos. Like Michael Irvin said, they don't have any ones, they got a bunch of twos. So if you got a bunch of twos, that means they can't beat press coverage, and defenses was all over them because they weren't afraid of them. They had nobody that could take the top off the defense. Now you're sending Aaron Rodgers to a fully loaded, young, and talented team on both sides of the ball. I'm not saying Super Bowl because I think that's been a little crazy, but are they a playoff team? Absolutely. What Aaron Rodgers does for the New York Jets is he makes them relevant.
That's exactly what he does. I think with that defense that they had from last year, I think it very much makes them relevant. I very much think now I'm not gonna say they're better than the Buffalo Bills. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not willing to say they're better than the Buffalo Bills, but I am willing to say they will make the playoffs. They will make the playoffs next year. I will be willing to say that as well. But other than that, you got someone that can get the ball to the wide receivers. And Devontae Adams again, he wanted his money. So other than that, I don't blame him from getting this money somewhere else where the organization already paid Aaron Rodgers. They could not pay already for Devontae Adams. So someone would have to already go. Devontae Adams chose to walk. He wanted to be with the Raiders anyway to go play with Derek Carr. Unfortunately, that didn't work out his first year. That did not work out. But other than that, if you look at it, you didn't pay Aaron Rodgers. You're in the same goddamn situation. Do you trust Jordan Love to throw the ball to Devontae Adams a full season? You really trust Jordan Love to do that? To throw the ball to Devontae Adams a full season? I think the team without Aaron Rodgers is not that much better. The wild card will be Jordan Love, and I don't think Jordan Love gets it done in Green Bay anyway. If Aaron Rodgers inside the wall,
we're on the same page. I think it's great that they got the compensation that they did. They haven't said it yet, but I'll say it for them. You better draft a quarterback. You better draft. No offense. There are some guys, you know what I'm talking about, when you just know if they have it or they don't have it. If Jordan Love had it, he would have already been playing.
I said the same thing.
He would have already been playing. He don't have it. He ain't that dude.
That's what I'm saying. If he was any type of good like Green Bay did with Aaron Rodgers, he had to sit behind Brett Favre for a year, but they knew Aaron Rodgers was going to be good. They knew it. They moved on from Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers comes in, Super Bowl champion. Jordan Love, if they saw that in Jordan Love, he would have already been playing. They would have been gave away Aaron Rodgers. They would have been gave up on him and been traded him somewhere else. And Jordan Love would have been the guy. So that showed you in the practices, they're not really that high on Jordan Love for them to just be giving him, for him to just be starting right now. Now, you got Allen Lazard, he gone. He's gone. All you got is Aaron Jones and Aaron is and Dylan. Dylan, as of right now, the receiving core is not looking good. Christian Watson is fine. He's okay. He's fine. But at the end of the day, hey, you need some receiver help out there, and I think that's what the Packers need to get. So other than that, Aaron Rodgers goes to the New York Jets. He's going to turn them into a playoff team. I still think the Bills win the division. I still think
I agree.
Win the division. I still will pick them to win the division, but I do think they make a wild card. I do think the Jets make the wild card, make it in.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Will those Bills Jets games be suddenly exciting? You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
yes.
you know what I mean? Like with
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers in the division, doesn't it suddenly be like, who the Jets playing? Because now all of a sudden the Jets are gonna be on TV a lot. Like, I want to watch Jet games. I want to see the Jets against the Bills. I want to see the Jets against the Dolphins. I want to see that.
Yeah, definitely a lot. It was last year. Don't forget the Jets beat the Bills last year. They beat the Bills last year. They forced Josh Allen to turn the ball over. I think I covered the game. I covered the game last year when they did it, when they beat them actually last year. So
he'll do that. He'll do that. That's why I think Buffalo's the better team. I don't know if that means they're gonna beat if they meet the Jets in the playoffs or not, because if both guys are healthy, I still trust Aaron Rodgers more than Josh Allen. I trust Aaron Rodgers to make a tight throw when needed than Josh Allen. Josh Allen has all the talent in the world, but he's got a tendency to make the bad play late in games.
Oh, we got the next topic, and it's my Houston Texans, pretty much. I know it's out there, the rumors out there, but again, if this was to happen Thursday, I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't be upset. I want to tell you why I wouldn't be upset. And I already said it multiple occasions. I don't care who the Texans pick. I don't really care. I trust DeMeco Ryans. Again, it wouldn't shock me because he's a defensive guru. He is a defensive guru. And he's shown that. He's shown he can develop talent. Some of them guys on that San Francisco defense, there wasn't first-round picks.
Where was he from? Come on, DeMeco.
He came from Houston.
No. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, where was his last stop? He was hanging out with them Niners.
Yep, he was hanging out with them Niners.
He's a bad man.
You're a San Francisco man. A lot of those defensive linemen, outside of Bosa, won first-round picks. A lot of that defense won first-round picks at all. Those are talent that, DeMeco developed. Right there, turned great. Aziz, he turned them into something great.
He coached them up.
Fred Warner already told you. Fred Warner already told you when he left, when he knew DeMeco was leaving. He already told you how good was DeMeco Ryans. Fred Warner broke down in the press conference. That told you all you need to know. With
it's
DeMeco
a big
Ryans.
loss.
Yeah, that told you all what you need to know. Afonga on that defense. Nobody thought he would be playing. DeMeco Ryans said that himself. Nobody thought he would be playing football for this team. He's our all-pro. He turned into an all-pro. So Jimmy Ward comes over to Houston because of DeMeco Ryans. So again, Shatavius Ward comes from the Chiefs, comes over there to do good. So a lot of those defensive players wasn't even first-round picks, but outside of Bosa. So again, this is why I wouldn't be mad if the Texans go Will Anderson. DeMeco Ryans knows how to develop a talent. And it takes more than a damn quarterback to build his team. We got better. Yes, we got better. In off season, we did get some depth on the defensive line. We did get some run stoppers. We did get our offensive line already better than last year with Shaq Mason, with the trade with Shaq Mason.
Oh, yeah.
We got some competent receivers, which we're going to get some more in the draft. We're going to get another running back in the draft. But again, it takes more to build a team. It takes more than the damn quarterback to fix a team. Even though I want a quarterback at number 2. But all of a sudden, if it's Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Tyreek Wilson, I've been hearing, whoever it is, I wouldn't be upset because it takes more than a damn quarterback to build this team. Now, one important position is quarterback. That is quarterback. That's the most important position to me on the field. That's quarterback. But we have a lot of holes that we got to address. We're going to get
you guys. If you don't go quarterback and you do go with Will Anderson, with DeMeco Ryans as his coach, and I know he's a rookie,
yep,
Will Anderson's going to be all pro. He's going to be special.
Yep. And he know how to develop. I trust DeMeco Ryans in his decision, but I do want a quarterback. To be honest, I do want a quarterback at number 2, but
I want one too.
I will.
we need one too.
Y'all got Trey Lance over there. I think y'all gonna be fine, bro.
Yeah,
y'all in a better situation than me.
I'll be honest, Coach. I was never high on Trey Lance. I was never high on Trey Lance. He might prove me wrong, but I was never high on him.
Yo, but it's a good opportunity. It's a good chance the Texans pass up on a quarterback and go Will Anderson, because DeMeco Ryans, I think, really likes Will Anderson over a quarterback. Not saying we're not going to get a quarterback. I still think we're going to get a quarterback in this draft. I think we're going to get a good quarterback in this draft, or we're going to possibly trade up with number 12 and get a quarterback. But other than that, if we do go Will Anderson, I'm not going to be yelling my lungs out like the rest of the fan base is. I'm going to trust him with DeMeco Ryans done, and he's proven it. He's developed guys on that San Francisco defense that wasn't first-round picks. That was 6th-round picks, and he got the most up out of them. So I'm going to trust in his process.
I would say Houston fans, give DeMeco Ryans a couple of years. He will make you a legit contender. Give him a couple of years.
He's going to get a couple of years.
Before you start ranting and raving. Like, trust this guy. Maybe you don't get the quarterback, or maybe coach is right and you do get that quarterback. But if you don't, you're going to have a top 5 defense this year.
Yep. But they're going to give him time. It is a 6-year deal, so he got plenty of time to get it going. And he got power too. DeMeco got power in his organization. He's got a lot of power, so he's got a lot of say so what he wants to as well. So that's one thing I like about DeMeco. So before we get up out of here, we already know we got to get to our slate of games. So what's going to go on tonight? We're going to go on tonight. We got the first game at 6:30, the Atlanta Hawks versus the Boston Celtics at 6:30. Boston coming into this game up 3-1. They're trying to end the series tonight. Atlanta coming in down, lost the last game. Lost the last game in Atlanta. Heartbreaking fashion. Not a heartbreaking fashion, but a fourth quarter letdown. Will Boston send Atlanta home packing after tonight?
I think so. I thought they were going to send them home when Atlanta was whole. Now you're missing your arguably your best all-around player and your best defensive player, DeJounte Murray. If Boston doesn't win this game, there's no excuses. Like, if you don't win this game, there's something wrong with Boston. Maybe they're not as good as we thought they were. So I think Boston ends the series. Atlanta's shorthanded. For Atlanta to win the night, they would need Trey to go for about 40 plus and have like 12 or 15 assists. That's to win the game, which isn't impossible, but I got to believe that Tatum and company know that Philly's already closed out. They want to end this and get ready for the next round.
Yep. Definitely agree with you. I'm going with you up on that one. Not going to get you on that one. Boston will send Atlanta home tonight. And that will set up a second round matchup with the Philadelphia 76ers in the semifinals, Eastern Conference semi. So the very next game, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves, who did everything they could to try to lose game 4. Who did everything they could to try to lose game 4 and give it away 2 different times in regulation and in overtime. If Jokic hits the free throw, the game, they would have been home already. And they would have been – the Nuggets would have been waiting on the series, the Clippers and the Suns series already. They would have been home. But do the Nuggets win this game tonight and send the Minnesota Timberwolves home?
Yes, they do. No, I think they do. They're the better team. I thought Minnesota look good for Minnesota. No sweep. There's pride. Like I said, there is a pride factor. Do I think Minnesota believes that they can come back and win the series? I do not believe that. I think Anthony Edwards might believe that because that kid is all heart. But I think the better team will do what they need to do and close this series out. They like to have a jump up on the Suns, maybe in the rest department. So look, they might not have much of a jump up because my guess is Phoenix is going to close out the Clippers as well.
Yep. So you already gave your thoughts on that one. You said Phoenix is going to close it out.
I could be wrong, Coach, but
yeah. I agree.
Okay, I'm just saying, no George, no Kawhi. Yeah. Russ could be special again, and it won't be enough.
Yep. I don't think a lot of people is going to step up for for the LA Clippers anyway. I don't think a lot of people's gonna step up for the Clippers tonight.
A lot of those guys look like they're ready to go home.
They look like they're ready to go home. I think the firepower is way too much. The starting five is way too much for the Clippers to handle. And I think that starting five may come into play in the next series, pretty much. That may come into play.
I think they get challenged a lot more for sure because Denver's starting five, maybe not in total firepower, but overall the balance, they're going to get challenged. They're going to get challenged too because Ayton didn't really have a real challenge. Zubac is a good player, but Joker is Denver's best player, right? So you're already starting from a standpoint that Ayton is going to get eaten alive. He is going to get eaten alive, and Joker isn't double. So already, what Phoenix is going to have to do defensively, automatically, coach, that changes. They didn't double nobody in the Clippers series. Automatically, you already have the double Joker.
Yep. So that's what it's going to be. So I think we have a lot of 3 game 5s that's going to pretty much end tonight. So another great morning show going on between you and me again.
Coach, one quick question.
Go ahead.
You've been watching. Nobody watches more games than you. Nobody calls more games than you.
Yeah.
Do you think the officiating has been consistent these playoffs?
I don't think it has been consistent, but I'm gonna tell you last night. I know people. Gina was in the group chat arguing. They weren't arguing, but they were saying the Anthony Davis foul wasn't a push off, and it clearly was a push off. The man clearly extended his arm. I could see the arm do that. I think that was a push off. It was no way that was a flop at all. When you extend the arm, the referee is going to call it, and Anthony Davis definitely extend that arm. That arm.
You can say that the defensive player sold it, but it was still. It was an
extension. It was an extension. It was an extension on an arm. If the referee sees that, they're going to call that. Now you can make a case for the Austin Reeves foul when he got hit up on the arm. He should have made the shot, but again, I'm not going to be so mad. But I'm not. I'm going to say the refs have not been really consistent outside of that. But I do disagree on that call. I do agree on that call that the ref made. It was a little bit of a sell job, but the arm did extend out to make it look.
I'm a Laker fan, and I thought it was a foul on Anthony Davis.
I thought it was a foul. I thought it was an offensive.
I saw the arm come out. I was like,
yeah. They're gonna call it. Once that referee sees that, they're gonna call it. I
guess my thing about the playoffs so far, coaches, and you probably noticed this. So the NBA called the way the game is called today. Obviously, is totally different from the '90s. But letter of the law, I'm talking about how the game's supposed to be called. They're not calling it letter of the law. Like if you watch these playoffs, they're allowing a lot of contact off the ball. They're allowing a lot of physicality that you don't see during the regular season. And I guess what I don't understand about that is if letter of the law is you call it a certain way, why do you get to the playoffs and you go, well, we're going to allow that in the playoffs? Like that's kind of confusing and it's inconsistent.
Yeah. And I thought, like I said, again, I'm not going to say what the referee shouldn't do, but the Jaren Jackson Jr. accidental punch in the groin, that seemed like punches in the groin been happening everywhere, every series you go into.
It's an epidemic.
Evidently, yeah. But I think that was a good call. He shouldn't have been thrown up out of the game. That was the right call.
Do that. I was glad.
I was glad that didn't happen. I would have been felt bad for Jaren Jackson. That wasn't no intent for that to happen. Joel Embiid should have been kicked out of the game. He purposely did it. He purposely actually did it. But again, Dylan Brooks, he wasn't trying, wasn't no intent. He was trying to get the ball from LeBron James. I mean, it just seemed like every time someone gets hit in the groin, they go back and look at it. But then again, I'm glad they got the replay view because you do want to get it right. You do at the same time want to get a call.
You do want to get it right.
You do want to get it right. But other than that, I thought Anthony Davis pushed off last night. I'm not saying that the referee's been consistent. They have not been consistent, but I agree on that call. He definitely pushed off. He definitely pushed off and extended the arm pretty much. He definitely did it. So,
I'm with you.
Yep. So, shout out to everybody that came to the morning show. Appreciate y'all for listening. Mo, tell the people they can hit you up at, man.
At home, Sports Empire Network with you and Dez when Dez is here in the morning, or I'll be in your chat whenever you call a game because I always enjoy when you and Dez call games. So I'll be there. I'll be dropping an episode of the NBA Cypher sometime tonight. It'll probably be available sometime tomorrow morning. But other than that, I'll be here at Sports Empire Network.
Yeah, man. Like I say, y'all can find me. Y'all know where to find me at. No introduction, man. We 2 days away from the NFL draft. We got more and more playoff basketball for you guys. So as for myself, Coach Dante, my co-host Mo, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you guys later tonight.
Peace.